Did you know that 80% of couples will experience a mismatched desire for sex at some point in their relationship? This problem is so common, and yet 71% of sexless marriages end in divorce, because even though most of us will deal with this discrepancy of desire at some point, we aren't taught about what to do when it happens. And I'm about to change that. So my name's Hannah, also known as the Libido Fairy, and this is my specialty. I have helped hundreds of women who have low desire in relationships, and I want to share some of my most practical tools today for what to do if you're in a relationship where one person wants sex more than the other. So today I'm going to walk you through some of the most common reasons why mismatched libido happens, and then what you and your partner can actually do to create more safety and connection and intimacy, even if you're not totally in sync right now. So first, it's really important to recognize what creates desire in the first place. Where does it even come from? The common belief is that desire for sex is a drive, like food or hunger, and it is completely false. The way desire works is a reward system. So if you get lots of reward from sex, you will want it more frequently. If you don't get a lot of reward from sex, or you have consistently negative experiences or emotions during sex or around sex, you're not going to want it. One of the biggest reasons for a mismatched libido is that one person in the relationship really enjoys the sex that they're having, and their experiences are very pleasurable, and the other person does not. Their experiences are not pleasurable. And a lot of times this can occur specifically in heterosexual relationships because penis and vagina intercourse is prioritized as the main event of sex. And for many women, intercourse without clitoral stimulation or nipple stimulation is not very pleasurable. There's a mismatch in pleasure, which causes a decline of desire for women in relationships like this. But what if you enjoy sex when it's happening and you just don't feel any pull towards it apart from that? Now that is because of the other reason for mismatched desire, and it is a lack of understanding about the two main desire types. There are two ways that desire can occur in the body. So spontaneous desire, which is anticipation of pleasure, happens like this urge in the brain that says, I want sex, and it seems to be out of nowhere. And then the body responds with arousal. This is the type of desire we see portrayed most often in movies and TV, like it just hits like lightning out of nowhere. But the other type of desire, which is experienced by 85% of women, is called responsive desire. This desire for sex happens after the body becomes aroused. So there needs to be pleasurable context, openness to sex, and stimulation that then leads that person to feel like they want to have sex, usually after 15 to 20 minutes of interaction. So if you're someone that starts fooling around and you're not super into it, but then after a while you're like all in, I love this, you have responsive desire. Both of those desire types are totally valid, but if you don't understand which one you are, you might end up in a cycle where one partner is waiting for that spontaneous urge to hit, but not doing anything to turn themselves on or adding any pleasurable stimulation and feeling like they just don't have any desire, or the spontaneous partner tries to initiate out of the blue and the responsive partner hasn't warmed up yet, leading to a lot of rejection. Then sex becomes associated with feelings of guilt, pressure, or rejection, which all lead to major tension in a relationship. One of the easiest solutions for this is just understanding what turns you on and how to feel desire. I've got a quiz linked in the description box below that can tell you what your turn-on type is and help you communicate that to your partner, so definitely recommend taking that quiz. Now, I'm about to talk about a few more solutions, but if you are enjoying the video so far, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more on intimacy and relationships. Now, if you have mismatched libidos, one of the best things that you can do for your relationship is create an intimacy menu, because a lot of people associate physical intimacy only with penetrative sex. So when someone's not in the mood for that, they pull away from everything but that just creates more distance. If you have a ton of options that you can choose from, then you can stay connected intimately, and there are so many more frequent sexual and intimate experiences you can have in your relationship because you have options. So I recommend you sit down with your partner and make a list of all of the things that each of you do that makes the other feel loved, connected, turned on, in pleasure, ranging from G-rated things like back rubs or a bath together or slow dancing or doing a puzzle, all the way up to things like cuddling naked or sensual massage or more X-rated stuff. The more you put on your intimacy menu, the better, so you have so many options to choose from. Now, this menu can come in super handy for my next suggestion, which is scheduling intimacy dates. This is very different than scheduling sex because there's no pressure during this time for penetrative sex to occur. But regardless of whether there is penetration, your relationship needs intimacy and physical connection regularly. And the longer you go without it, the harder it gets to start. So put a time on the calendar every week where you can choose a few items from your intimacy menu to play and connect together. Again, I recommend having so many options on your list so that you can really check in on how you feel that day specifically and have intimacy that works for your level of energy in that moment. The final best tip that I have is to get on the same page with your partner about what sex means to your relationship and what success looks like for you when it comes to your sex life. So instead of defining sex in number of times per week or how many orgasms you have, define success by criteria like what you truly want to get out of the experience and how you want to feel. Remember what I said before, that desire comes from reward. So define the rewards that both you and your partner really want to get out of sex, and then create a plan to get those rewards together. They could be things like connection, play, experimentation, exploration. But if you're in the thick of mismatched libido dynamic right now, I just want you to know that you are not alone and you're not failing. This is an invitation to learn and to grow and to reimagine what intimacy can look like when it's not based on obligation or shame or performance. If you need more tools around this, I highly, highly recommend checking out my program, the Intimacy Accelerator, where we help women feel pleasure and look forward to sex again in their relationships. You deserve to have a sex life that feels like joy instead of pressure or dread. And I hope that you share this video with your partner and use some of the tools that I just shared. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.